Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll meet the county's planning and zoning officer, and we'll tell you how to join the fight against invasive species. But first, making headlines this week. Live Casino celebrated another milestone this week. Alongside the casino, they are now building a new hotel and conference center, and here is the last steel beam being hoisted to the top. The hotel will become the tallest building in Anne Arundel County at 17 stories. It's a $200 million project that will also feature a 4,000-person conference center if financing is approved. Here's what County Executive Steve Shue had to say about the project.
3 years ago, our administration, along with Councilman Pete Smith, met with officials at what was then known as Maryland Live to discuss an incredible opportunity. The Cordish companies had designed and would soon break ground on a first-class hotel, the largest such structure in Anne Arundel County. And as part of that project, they'd planned on including a 1,500-person conference center. We entered into discussions to expand the facility into a full-blown 4,000-person convention center through a public-private partnership with county financial participation in the cost of the project. Councilman Smith and our administration recognized that such a facility would not only attract trade shows and conventions and other business events, but more importantly, would provide a much-needed in-county location for milestone events like high school and community college graduations. Up until now, those major events have had to be conducted outside of Anne Arundel County, in Baltimore County, Prince George's County, and other places, causing our families to travel great distances for those very memorable events. No longer will those parents have to travel all over creation to see their children cross the stage in a cap and gown. The facilities we're capping off this morning will house that convention center thanks to a pilot agreement that we have recently submitted to the County Council for their approval.
The County Council is considering a payment in lieu of taxes bill or pilot that allows Live Casino to pay $1 per year in property taxes for 30 years. County executive said the tax break is a good deal because high schools will be able to provide graduations for free and events there will bring in revenue. Shue estimated that it would cost the county at least $60 million to build a conference center. Live Casino has poured $1 billion into education so far, as you might know, Dave. It's really amazing.
$1 billion. In honor of the fall, we announced changes that mean more hay rides,
woohoo!
More apple picking.
I like it.
Maybe even more pumpkin lattes.
Shut up.
Yes.
More lattes?
But the natural ones.
Oh, okay.
Starting this weekend, agritourism businesses will no longer pay an amusement tax and will see flexible zoning rules to allow them to expand. County Executive Shue said the changes will help our farms.
For far too long, farms like Why Worry were subject to outdated, inapplicable regulations and a burdensome tax structure that did not fit their business models. Over the last 18 months, working with our Agritourism Advisory Work Group, the Farm Bureau, and other stakeholders across the county, we sought to make our county more hospitable to businesses like these here at Why Worry. Those efforts culminated with the passage of legislation this fall to recognize and, most importantly, to support our burgeoning agritourism industry. We eliminated the unnecessary amusement tax charged to these farms and reformed the zoning code to allow these businesses to grow and flourish. This weekend, for the first time, pleased to announce the collection of the amusement tax to these businesses will be suspended.
That was out there in Why Worry Farms in the motherland of Davidsonville,
Yes,
Maryland. Kristin, you grew up there. Tell us about Why Worry Farms.
Why Worry Farms. That is one of my good friends from high school's, her family farm.
Of course.
It's one of the oldest fall festival celebrating farms, and it's family owned off Rossback Road.
That's
Rossback
correct.
Road.
Very good.
Really great fall festival, and then in the winter, you can go get your Christmas tree there as well. But great people out there, and you should really support local, so I can't recommend Why Worry enough.
And I actually recently I went to a similar an agritourism sort of farm in Virginia, and they had the pumpkin patch, right? But they also had these crazy rope swings, and they had like a barn retrofitted with ropes, so the kids could you just let the kids go and
Yeah.
they run all over the place and go crazy and get
Yep.
tired and then take a nap. It's
great.
Parents out there, right?
A lot of them are they have like the jump floor where kids go and like bounce on the whole floor, and like huge slides and petting zoos. They're crazy now. So
Right. So I think
good that
they
we'll be
didn't
able
say
to-
this. They didn't say this at the press conference, but I think places like Why Worry Farms they're gonna add more attractions and more things for people to do when they go there. So you're not just going there to get a pumpkin, which is nice. We like pumpkins.
Yes.
But you can do so much other stuff, and you
We
can
love pumpkins.
buy locally produced foods, and make a whole day out of it.
Cider donuts. We
The
need more
corn maze,
cider
you
donuts.
can't go wrong with the corn maze.
Hot
Everybody
apple
loves the
cider.
Yep.
Corn maze.
Is there a
Hey, Ray.
pumpkin latte that's like natural? That's not that company that company.
Yeah, there's local ones, and you can make one at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you make it with actual pumpkins?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can. I know Chuck has his own recipe for a pumpkin latte.
There you go. Shout out to Chuck.
Shout out to Chuck.
I expect we will have some next week.
I've been pitting a lot of pumpkin baked goods.
You're doing a lot of alliteration today. You're pumpkin pitting and
Pinning,
you're
pumpkin pinning.
wow. Man, you are on fire today. Must have been the Bruno Mars concert.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Did you guys miss me last week?
Yes.
I did not
we'll talk
miss you.
all about it. Yes.
Sorry.
I'm sure it was very good. We're
It
jealous.
was awesome. Brooklyn Park Community of Hope is holding a special First Hope Festival tomorrow, October 21st at the Chesapeake Arts Center. This event will feature a hands-on musical instrument class, big thumbs up for that, with national recording artist Art Sherrod Jr. and a free jazz concert. That's incredible. Let's take a look at what Art Sherrod Jr. can do. This is a chance to get your kids excited about music. I could not be a bigger proponent of that, which of course is near and dear to my heart. Make sure your kids stay in performance arts, musical arts, art in general.
All arts.
The fun starts at 1 p.m., and that's tomorrow again. There will also be face painting games and Dave's favorite, a moon bounce.
Oh, it's my favorite now.
Yeah, the moon bounce. For more information, call 410-222-7596. Dave, did you play an instrument as a kid?
Yes, I did.
What'd you
I
play?
played trumpet from 4th grade until all the way through high school.
Really?
Yep. And in high
have you
school, I
tried
was in the
picking one
jazz
up?
band.
Nice.
I could probably still play it. I mean, you have it's not ligature, it's aperture.
Okay.
The muscles in your lips
gotta
and your
straight-
mouth.
kinda like
you have to
calluses
build,
for a
right for
guitar
guitar.
playing.
You have to build that up. So
Little
it probably
boogie,
wouldn't
woogie,
sound
bugle
great, but
boy?
I could pull something off.
You little boogie woogie yoga boy.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, right. I could probably do taps. You know?
Oh, okay. That's
I know
sad.
it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Sorry to, but yeah, I could probably pull it out and play it. How about you? What was your first instrument?
6 years old, piano lessons.
Wow.
Took lessons privately for 10 years. I love classical. Sometimes I sit down and play, and just like muscle memory, I have lost some of my memory recognition with sight reading and reading sheet
You
music,
play
ledger
all the
lines.
time.
I do, but I don't play classical anymore. And I love
Okay.
I love me a good Chopin.
Okay.
I know it sounds weird.
He kind of rocks.
Some Bach. He does rock.
Bach rocks.
Debussy.
Oh.
Debussy. However you say it.
So do you
I like
have a
sitting down.
piano in your house?
I have a piano at my mother's house. So
Are
when
you-
I
when-
go over, I like to play.
So like someday are you gonna have a big Stradivarius piano?
I would love to have a baby grand back and
Is that right?
whenever I'm at
Stradivarius? They make piano.
Stradivarius. I don't
Is that
know.
violins?
That might be.
What's the Steinway?
Steinway.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a baby grand at my mom's house right now, and if she keeps that, I'll probably get another piano for my house that I move into one day.
Ooh.
But yep, I started on an upright. I moved to a baby grand. Now I'm mostly playing rock and blues bands. But
Yeah.
I still.
You know, kids, this is what it's. You gotta learn an
You
instrument.
have to.
It's really important.
Not only is it important because you get to play shows and be a rock star, but also because it keeps your left side of your brain pretty sharp.
Yes.
So-
And you learn there's math to
Yep.
it. There's, reading music. There's a lot to it. Practicing and performing in front of people. It gives you, be able to do a TV show or whatever when you get older. So you gotta try the instrument, kids.
Very oddly,
you will not regret it.
In high school, I was really good at chemistry and physics, and I think it's because of my music background.
Well, I was not. So.
You should have
But
kept
maybe
up with
I wasn't.
taps.
Maybe I wasn't as good at the instruments.
Should have practiced a little more taps.
Maybe that's what it was. By the way, I also, not only did I play trumpet, but I kind of branched out a couple times. Like I did baritone tuba for a while.
And you
like
play
the
guitar
baby
now.
tuba. And then I learned guitar when I was like 14. I taught myself tablature.
Yeah.
And I'm not great, but I can play.
You can hang.
So yeah, I mean,
Pretty cool.
whenever I get a chance and when I want to bug people who give them advice which they don't want on their kids, I'm like, you got to get the kid to
You got to
learn
do it. Support
whatever
arts
it is, if it's
education
flute,
in school.
But piano's the best, right?
Piano's
It's the
great.
most
It's the
transferable.
gateway.
That's right. You can learn anything if you can
Yeah.
play piano. I wish I knew that when I was a kid. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk to Planning and Zoning Officer Phil Hager about his listening tour around the county. Do you hear that, Kristin?
I hear it. I hear it. Whoop.
Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
You made this vacation happen, cleverly merging promotions
Double points with every purchase.
and cross-referencing travel sites. Aloha! If you can ace your vacation, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in studio this week, we're delighted to have Mr. Phil Hager, who is the Planning and Zoning Officer for the county. Mr. Hager, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being here. So we had this week the second listening session. Talk to me a bit about what these listening sessions are all about.
Well, there's going to be 10 of them in all, and it's an opportunity for the residents of Anne Arundel County to provide feedback to us on what they feel we're doing right, what's going on, what they would like to see changed regarding the development of the county's comprehensive plan, which in Anne Arundel County is called the General Development Plan.
And so people are seeing folks putting dots on a screen right now. What are they doing there?
That's a sort of a preference survey. It gives us an opportunity to identify what to them are some of the most important topics of interest to them, so that we can make sure that we can focus on that either in the plan itself as we develop the issues and formulate the plans that become the elements of the overall plan, or that we can maybe focus those in on further listening opportunities or for future dialogue with the community.
Very good. Now, you've only had this job for about 3 months,
Yes.
right? Can you give us a bit of your background and also let us know how it's going? So
Yeah, how's it
far?
going? How's it going? A little busy?
It is busy. I haven't gotten out of the office other than last night's meeting. I love it. It's
Great.
really good. You know, my father always said that anything that you don't get paid for is recreation. Fortunately, I do get paid for this, but sometimes it feels like recreation.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good.
I just enjoy what I do. I enjoy the staff that I'm working with. I have the coolest job.
Yeah.
I really do. I met with someone this morning and they said, "You have the toughest job in county government." And maybe that's true. I really don't know, but I think I have the coolest job because it's never the same. There's always something new. I love a challenge. And it's just a great opportunity to work with some great people, and I've really enjoyed everyone I've met so far in Anne Arundel County.
Well, that's a wonderful look.
And so for those who don't know, you've been with the Army Corps of Engineers, the Maryland National Capital National Capital Park and Planning Commission. Is that
Yes.
right? Wow, I got that right. I had that.
Good job.
I had that.
Yeah.
Howard County Planning.
No, Carroll.
Carroll County, Howard.
Howard.
Okay, what?
Carroll County.
So did I miss any?
Allegheny
Allegheny
and Worcester.
and Worcester.
Woo!
Not Worcester, Worcester.
Worcester, yeah. Had
What
to
a
get-
resume.
Well, and I was in private sector for a while too.
Oh, my.
And do you consider yourself like, are you a planner, or are you a like draw it on a paper with a drafting table kind of guy, or are you more like an administrator?
I am old school in terms of planning technology, and you know, when I first began work, we had 60 draftsmen, and they called them draftsmen because they all happened to be males. But we had 60 draftsmen that made all of our maps, and all of our maps were in black and white. And anything that you had to do involving a spatial analysis you had to perform by putting one transparency on top of another to get a picture. Today, one GIS technician can do the work of those 60 people that maybe took 6 or 8 months in 15 minutes, and we get a far better product. So the old adage about a picture being worth 1,000 words, well, a map tells a whole story, and that's a tremendously powerful analysis tool that we have. So I think that I'm in an interesting place because I was trained in the old school version, but I now have all these cool, neat new toys with great people who know how to operate them, and it just creates an interesting opportunity for success that probably we never would have seen before. It certainly was beyond our imagination when I first started this gig 30 years ago.
You really do love your job.
I do.
You're getting me excited about it.
I want to learn GIS
See,
too.
yeah.
GIS is pretty cool.
Now, I got to ask, if you have the coolest job in Anne Arundel County, does that mean you get the coolest boots in Anne Arundel County?
The coolest footwear.
Coolest
Tell us
footwear.
about boots.
Yeah.
You're a boot guy.
I am. I enjoy being comfortable, and a good pair of boots that fit well are just about the most important thing that you can have. And they always tell the British infantry, you got to take care of your feet first.
Yep.
I have 9 pairs of boots. They're all exotic skins. This pair happens to be 23 years old, so I do try to take good care of them.
Like the last time we updated the general development plan. Just
oh,
kidding. We did it a
wow.
couple years ago. Where do you now? Real quick on the boots. Do you shop for them? Do you have one guy in Texas or something, or like how do you find them?
Well,
boot guy?
You know, there's a great little shop right here in Anne Arundel County that
Yes.
I would encourage you to go see. It's not very far from the studio here. I was just in there recently getting some repairs done. A great little place called Carol's Western Wear.
Yep.
I love Carol's Western. I got a
Yep.
pair of boots from there.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, they're real. They're for real.
They are.
Nice people there, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, you said that there's going to be 10 listening sessions.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when these sessions are over?
And we're really going to be beginning before they're complete because we've got other things that are going on. But we'll be working to do our background analysis and background studies. And we're also going to begin our formulation of our various elements. There's you know, planners have to be difficult. We don't call our plans the various components of our plans. We call them elements, not chapters. So
okay.
when we talk about an element, that's what we mean. But they're discipline focused, like a water resources element or agriculture or land use element, et cetera. And we'll be working on all of those. But the information we get from the public is vitally important. We're required by state law to incorporate public comment in our processes. But there's no guidance as to what that really means. And we, at direction from the county executive, have really tried to emphasize the role of the public in the development of these plans. That's why we're doing these 10 geographically based listening sessions throughout the county. But we're also providing a lot of other opportunities for public engagement throughout the planning process. And we're trying to provide those opportunities to the people in various mediums. Not everybody's comfortable coming to a meeting, stepping in front of a microphone and spouting off.
Right.
And so we're.
But some are.
Some are.
Yes, we have some that are very, no, not me.
But we do have an opportunity to do that, and so we're trying to get as many different places for people to participate as possible. Right now on our website, we actually have a survey that people can participate in as well. Let me give a plug for that website, if I may.
Yes. Sure.
It's www.aacounty.org/plan 2040.
2040, and we were kind of dreaming a couple weeks ago about where we would be in 2040
That's
and what
right.
we would be doing. But before we let you go, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. So I was with you at the meeting, the public meeting you had, the listening session, and I heard a lot of people there say that they want the county to go from a vacancy sign to a no vacancy sign. And I understand where they're coming from there. They live here and they want everything to stay the way it is. But at the same time, you know, you have correct me if I'm wrong, you have like a constitutional protection against property rights. How do you grapple from a planning standpoint with the issue of, you know, people saying no more traffic, I want no more traffic? How do you do that? I mean, how do you address that?
It is a really, that's probably the most difficult part of my job, balancing all the different components that make up doing these plans, and then also trying with, we hope, some level of success at trying to address the comments that we receive from the public. And you know, the other thing is when we have a public meeting, it requires somebody to actually come out, and it requires some effort on their part. So often when people come out to a public meeting, you're hearing their complaints. It's not all that
If
common.
they're happy, they're not coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know typically that for the most part that you're going to be hearing things that people would like to see improvement on. But all that said, you know, you do have to balance a lot of different things, and you have property rights. And the important thing to remember from property rights is that people do have rights, but those rights begin and end at their property lines. And when the rights of one person who happens to own a property extend or overflow out onto the other people's property or to other people's rights, then they're interfering with their right of enjoyment as well. So trying to find the happy medium where all those things can fit together is the challenge of my job. And that's what we spend so much of our time trying to do, so that we get a situation that people can continue to feel that Anne Arundel County is home to them and a place where they want to be.
Fantastic.
I do. I grew up around the Beltway, so
Yeah.
you know, traffic doesn't really faze me as much. But I've lived here about 15 years now, and it's a great place. And you know, hopefully people can understand that we're trying to manage everything the best we can. And I know you guys are working hard to do it right. I mean, obviously, I think just by having these 10 meetings, you're telling the community that I want to hear what you have to say, and I'm going to try and listen to everything that you have to say.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot to say. So.
And we have a phenomenal staff with whom I'm working, and it's great. And we've
Absolutely.
had complete backing from the administration, and I couldn't be happier about that.
Great.
Well, we thank you for all the hard work that you're doing, Phil. We appreciate that you're loving it while you're doing it, and you're doing such a great job with it. So thanks for coming into the studio this week. It was a delight to have you.
Thank you very much.
And if you out there want more information on the general development plan, if you want more info about listening sessions, make sure you're going to www.aacounty.org/plan 2040. We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Those pretty little cattails you see at the edges of waterways and forests are not actually cattails. The county is recruiting volunteers called weed warriors to fight back invasive species. Michelle Corkadel has more. Michelle?
What a great day in Anne Arundel County. I'm here in Davisonville, where we've checked in with a brand new program here in Anne Arundel County through Department of Public Works called the Weed Warriors. And with me is our Weed Warriors chair and leader extraordinaire, Mr. Bud Reeves. Thank you for joining me, Bud.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. And so what we're here to do today is share a little insight to what a weed warrior is and how you can be a part of the solution to eradicate the invasive species that continue to grow and thrive and crush out our natives here in Anne Arundel County. And I understand behind me is an example of such a project, albeit looking very ordinary. Can you explain that to us, Bud?
Yes, we had a lot of invasive vines here, and these areas were cleared out, and the natural vegetation was allowed to grow. Like here's flowering dogwood, here's some hickory. There's an ash tree, some various hickories, and some spice bush. There's tulip poplar there. These are all native plants, and now these are free to grow without having the influences of the invasive species on them.
So tell me, what type of invasive species are we having to go to battle with?
In this county, the big one is the invasive vines, and this is Japanese honeysuckle, Asiatic bittersweet, wisterias, both Chinese and Japanese, both varieties, kudzu, but also things like garlic mustard, which is herbaceous, which has a deleterious effect. Japanese stiltgrass, all kinds of plants.
Well, we know that garlic mustard, where garlic mustard is, the ticks are sure to be very nearby, correct?
That's correct. Speaking of ticks, Japanese barberry, which is a shrub, is also highly correlated with tick habitat.
And that has to do with how the rodents nest and that tend to be the carriers of this very, very intrusive bug.
Yes, the rodents and the other animals that carry things like rabbits, they like briar patches. Japanese barberry is very, very protective of anything that's hiding behind it. So it's like a well or like a crucible where all the ticks congregate, and there's a place for them to hide.
Well, it's time to break up that party. And so I understand that you're going to have a series of training days set up so that we can basically train the Weed Warrior team leaders so that they can, when a community says, help, I've got invasives in my common area or in my beach area or by the community center, that they will have a team that they can go to and participate to get rid of these, correct?
Correct. Yeah, our first training will be a couple weeks on October 21st at Jug Bay Wetland Sanctuary from 9 to 12. You can look online for the Facebook page, Anne Arundel Weed Resistance, that's what we're called, and sign up. And we're also having one on the 11th of November. This will be at the West County Regional Library.
So it sounds like we're going to be all around the county making sure that everybody has ample opportunities to do the training. And this will be one in a series of events. And just as a little FYI, our Weed Warriors is a team of many. We have master gardeners on board, our watershed stewards, our river keepers play a key role, and of course Recs and Parks, who are responsible for maintaining the thousands of acres of parklands and natural areas like we're here today in here in Davisonville. Well, I hope you will join us in being a fellow Weed Warrior. It's time to get out those tools and make a difference for our bay. Thank you for joining us, Bud.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Again, that training is tomorrow, so come on out and be a warrior.
Yeah,
I know Michelle knows what she's talking about because she's a
She does.
composting queen. I've seen her
she's
do.
a master gardener.
Yeah,
and
she's
all
a
that.
master gardener. She knows her stuff. So.
You know, I learned from Michelle's piece, she did a longer piece about this, that the invasives are usually along the edges of the forest because they need lots of sunlight and there's less sunlight inside. So it's always like around the perimeter of a forest that you see these things.
How lucky
and they
for
look
us.
pretty, but they're not good. They're not our friends.
They're not our friends.
And bamboo, not our friend.
Not a friend at all.
No bamboo.
And don't put these in your compost pile and don't put them in your yard waste bag.
You heard it here from the recycling queen. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We don't need invasive
She will
compost,
come to
y'all.
your house and you don't want that. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archive episodes online anytime on Facebook or YouTube by simply searching for Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.